Hey everyone, my name's Drew. I work at Rapyd with Shaw. I flew in from New York. Rona and Shaw came in from Tel Aviv. We're based in Tel Aviv. We have about 600 employees. We're a payment provider, a payment gateway, kind of we call ourselves a fintech as a service. I mean, I'll just kind of step through this a little bit. I want to make sure and give Shaw plenty of time. But again, that's the QR code for the survey at the end if you wanted to go ahead and grab it. But part one, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about payments and partnerships equals profit. It's not a cost. And we kind of broke this down. What we did was we took this from our CEO, Arik, did a talk in Zadar, Croatia at InfoBip Shift last year. We got really good reviews from the developers that were in the audience about how to kind of bake fintech into your applications, how to use it to monetize versus it being an expense like a transaction. And a little bit about Rapyd. I'll get to that slide here in a second, but being a payment gateway, a fintech as a service, I mean, our job is, we've got the infrastructure engineers and solution architects like Shaw that are creating it, but we're really looking for developers outside of Rapyd, of course, to integrate our product into their stack, for their partners or for their company or for their whatever it might be, from plugins to hosted checkout pages all the way to a full-blown API integration. So anyway, we used to always think of payments as a cost. When APIs in our fintech as a service, the equation's kind of changed a little bit. Payments are a new way to create and grow revenue or through your business. And this is kind of the way we've been thinking about this. First you had, of course, the internet, then you had cloud, and then you had mobility, so you could carry your internet in your pocket. And the next phase is fintech. And we think Rapid's kind of, I mean, we're founded in 2016. Again, we're kind of a more mature startup. We've got a really good valuation. You can Google it and look it up all that on your own. But we do kind of think that fintech is the next evolution. Every website will need to accept payments in some way. Even we think it doesn't, and it can't always be through subscriptions or ads. It's ways you can also do things with your website or your application to make it accept payments. So a little bit about Rapyd here. I'll go right to left. I won't really talk about issuing too much. We do have an issuing platform. Our Rapyd wallet is pretty much what we were built on. It's just a way to hold a token, do whatever you want with it. You can have on-off ramps for crypto. You can do it for, alternative payment methods or cash. And then we've got our disperse and collect. So collect and disperse is kind of our bread and butter. We have a really amazing API, great documentation, a community of 54,000 developers. We have a Discord channel, just lots of communication. The developers can go if they don't know a lot about fintech, and they can learn about fintech. And that's kind of what our mission is, basically, to be human, helpful, and handy for developers when it comes to, because not everyone knows what a fintech developer is or how to do payments, compliance, risk, all the things that go along with that. But we do have an open API that's going to be launched, I think, mid-year, hopefully. And that's really going to kind of help us blow the doors. We've had some SDKs, we pulled them down. No one really used them, but by having this spec, we'll be able to really open up the doors with our platform and allow developers as well as our own teams to build some pretty amazing things. I mean, I've already mentioned the community of 54,000. Rona's been, trying to get people to aware of it and to sign up for it. We also do DIV compliance, single settlement reconciliation. FX is a big thing, right? Cross-border payments. You got to have some way to work the exchange, so we can help with that. And I'll just kind of move on from there. So really the big ask from us is, get your sandbox keys, play around with it. So my team kind of looks after all the documentation, all the resources, all the tools that you would need to build, and just give us feedback. You can ask me anytime, contact me anytime, join the community. That's where you'd probably find me the most. And then collaborate with the other developers, share what you're building, et cetera, et cetera. What is fintech? Some people may not even know what that is. You could be building apps for lending or finance, insurtech, market and exchange. So you can read. I don't need to read those. And then also a big one we're seeing, it's the first one, I guess, is lending. And money movement, money management apps are super huge right now. And super apps, yeah. Part two, how payments drive revenue. The title was a little long, but basically I was kind of talk about what every developer should know about fintech. We used to think of it as transactional. Yes, it is still transactional, but if we think of it more into relationships, then we can kind of like upsell within our application various add-ons that you can use to make payments more versus thinking of it as just an expense for something you're building into your app. Lower churn, of course, and then just some news. We had our insights person go out and do some research about why ad revenue is, declining and people are challenged by it. And that's where, Rapyd thinks we can grab this and make it successful by thinking of it more as how can developers monetize within their app using fintech as a service from Rapyd. And this is kind of, again, I just kind of show you that here, the internet connectivity, software as a service, mobility, and then of course the value exchange at the top. You can see some of the firms that help companies monetize. We all know Stripe, Rapyd. There might be a couple of firms here that you're familiar with. We should have probably put some more local terms there. Codad is on there, which we talked about earlier. And then how do you monetize fintech? I'll start at the bottom. Referral partnerships. This is probably the biggest for anyone here. Embed fintech into your customers' apps, monetize their transactions. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Put it in if you're already developing for Stripe or developing for Adyen, just, make an integration for Rapyd as well. And then also solution partnerships. So those are the two ways that we feel are the largest for monetizing fintech. And then the recipe, again, this kind of harkens back to the talk that Arik did in Croatia a couple of months ago. Find a service that provides something that's on a high frequency. It sounds kind of like a subscription, but it doesn't always have to be a subscription. And then use that information. You get the data that you collect, analyze it, refine it. And then this is where we would come in on section 3, add a service, financial service like a wallet, credit payments, bank transfer, or whatever. And then engage users in a repetitive model. This is where we found success, is engaging with developers, getting them to use other parts of our API. But again, this just helps us. I'm not trying to sell to developers. I'm trying to just make our documentations better. We want to have the best-in-class docs, the best-in-class resources and tools that it makes their jobs easier, good Postman collections, whatever that may be. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think from here, and again, the QR code again, just if you can scan it, do the survey, it'd be amazing. Take home R2D2. And Shaw now, who's a senior architect at Rapyd, is going to kind of step through a demonstration of how all this comes together.
Hey all, my name is Shaul. I'm 35 years old, from Israel, with 8 years experience as a software developer, 6 of them in JavaScript, starting with AngularJS back then, and now Node.js and Express and React. And so actually this is a funny fact about myself. So this is my first time that I'm speaking in a meetup. So be gentle with me. Yeah. So let's start with familiar with Rapyd tech. So what we are doing, backend Node.js with Express with TypeScript, frontend with React, databases MongoDB and MySQL, and cloud. Basically 99% of our services are on AWS resources and so on. And what we are going to do today is build end-to-end integration with the checkout API. So what is the checkout? The checkout is basically the quickest way to create payment in the Rapyd system. There are 2 ways to integrate with the checkout. One is the redirect mode, and the other one is the toolkit. So for redirect mode, we're gonna need to first generate a page, and then redirect our end user to this page. For the toolkit, we're gonna need to also generating a page, and then we're gonna need to build some front-end integration into our app. And every piece of code that I'm going to copy today in the demo is a public, or from the Rapyd documentation, or for the GitHub. And the demo will be on the sandbox environment, so it's okay to do it, and it's not a production, it's not costing money. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to start from the authentication part. So the authentication part, I'm going to test it on the get list of countries API. It's a simple API, and let's see how I'm going to do it. So as I said, I'm going to copy some code from the GitHub. I'm going to copy the authentication part and move it into my API. So this is the authentication part. And for the authentication part, I need also the access key and the secret key. The access key and the secret key are going to take it from the client portal. The client portal is the dashboard for our merchants to see the transaction, to download reports, to managing basically all their accounts, and also the access key and the secret key. Okay. So let's test the authentication. Let's see if it's going to work. So the authentication part is working. So now I'm going to generate a page. For generating the page, I need 3 parameters, mandatory parameters. The first parameter is the amount, the second one is the currency, and the third one is the country of the end user, because we're gonna need to give the end user the payment method that he can pay in his own country. So I'm going to build now a new to generate the checkout page. Made from the end user country. Let's rewind again. Okay, so that's this request also working. In this response, there's 2 parameters that important. One is the ID that we're gonna need it for the toolkit integration, and the other one is the redirect URL. Okay. So for the redirect mode, I just need, after I generate the page, I just need to redirect my end user, and it's look like this. So this is the checkout page. I can customize a logo, customize a little bit of the color of the button and the text, and also customize the URLs that the end user will go back to. So the next part will be the toolkit. The toolkit I'm going to implement on a simple HTML that I'm going to copy from the Rapyd documentation. So for the toolkit integration, I need three things. One is this import the script. Second one is initiate the checkout object. And the third one, I need to add div element with the ID. I can place the div whatever I want and also give him a width. Okay. So I'm working on the sandbox and not in the production. And I'm going to do some fetch to my API and then take the ID and put it here instead of the dummy ID. Let's try one more time. Okay. One more time. Yeah. So finally it's working. So we can embed this integration. Okay. We can embed the toolkit into our app and also do some the style sheet that Rapyd give us. What else? Also, we cannot add some front-end manipulation by listening to the events. We have 2 events, but we have more events that we can listen and adding some, I don't know, server call or a pop-up if we need it to enter the errors. And hopefully you enjoy the demo. It is very, very simple to work with Rapyd. The integration, as you see, it's copy paste and only a few adjustments. And if you have any questions about Rapyd, about the demo, I'm here. Thanks.